1998 Jeep Wrangler TJ. It's the 90s and Weird Al is back on the top of the charts, so you want to write your own parodies. So you can surprise your girlfriend's family at Thanksgiving with scrotal eclipse of the heart.
To all of you American Jeeps, it's sad to imagine a drop in value. These Jeeps will still keep their resale, dirtier than the Reeves tell. Hella cash.
Name me a car that is popular both with natty ice drinking, whey protein chugging, Friday classes ditching, daddy's credit card holding, wraparound bicep tattoo flexing, backyard bros. The kind of dicks who, after being assigned a paper, raise their hand and say, "How long does it have to be?" And popular with post-teeny boppers, now photography majors, flipping their hair in the dining hall, throwing their syllabus in the trash and missing assignments because you never told us when it was due. Then they go back to their dorm room, pull out their corn syrupy whipped cream flavored vodka bottle from their sock drawer hiding spot. Name me any other car that appeals both to these categories and whom drivers look completely normal driving said car. That's the Jeep TJ. There's no reason the TJ should have been a success. All it was a continuation of the Jeep Wrangler YJ. You know, the one with the square headlights? Back in January of this year, Kelley Blue Book ranked the Wrangler second highest in resale value, just behind the Tacoma. That's this year. And it makes sense when you consider where this vehicle sits in the consumer hierarchy. This is an inoffensive vehicle that has practical appeal for just about any regular driver. You could daily this thing. You could off-road it. You could customize it to make it roadworthy in the snow, or you can customize it to make it roadworthy in the dirt, or it could be a mutter truck, or it could be a beach-going vehicle. Can't count how many people you'll see on an average day in Pennsylvania with roided-out wheels because apparently backspacing is a thing here. Maybe it's a thing everywhere, I don't know. Are big tires a Pennsylvania thing, or do people have small penises nationwide? Okay, what is backspacing? Backspacing is the distance between the back edge of the wheel and the flat part that's up by the brake rotor. So tire width determines the amount of backspacing you're going to need for whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. Too much backspacing and you'll wreak havoc on the bearings because the wheel is going to be sitting too deep in the well. Not enough backspacing and your Jeep will end up looking like a bulldog riding a skateboard. The TJ has the coil suspension of the Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it has either the 2.5 liter AMC 150 inline 4 at the entry level, but most drivers went for the 4 liter AMC 242 straight 6. That's the one everybody wants. It's an old engine, but it has a happy spot. And although they didn't know it at the time, consumers who bought the TJ and bought it new were seeing the end of an old era. The very end of it. No more AMC parts in Wranglers after this. That reverse flow head, straight 6 was going away. Not even the door handles. Nothing. The status quo was kicked down a flight of stairs like so many in-laws at Thanksgiving. This is the last legitimate Jeep. The new ones, the unlimited, the stretched ones, no. This is the last Jeep that's truly unsafe. And at the same time, it's the last Jeep that's excited to see you. This is a top-heavy Jeep. It will roll over if you're unkind to it. But if you're kind to it, it will please you. If you were a postal character, right-hand drive versions of this Jeep were available because government business. There were some other peculiarities about the TJ that are foreign to a lot of modern consumers. Maybe this was just with OBD1 Jeeps, but your check engine light is on. The only way to pull codes is to place the key in the ignition, press the odometer reset button, hold it down, then you have to turn the key to run while also releasing the odometer reset button. It's more complicated than the process Furiosa taught Max for starting up the war rig. Again, we're going by internet research here, but according to message boards, this process is because the 1998 TJs introduced a new diagnostic system, which altered the way codes were accessed and read. Performing this check would result in a test of the DAS functions that reveal any error codes on the odometer. I've never plugged an OBD2 reader into an OBD2 Jeep. We're going with Roman's research on this. We didn't perform this test in the field because there was nothing wrong with this particular Jeep that you're seeing right now. Like any popular car that's endured for this long, there is a cult following surrounding Jeeps. Okay, cult is a bit of a strong word, but this community does have its own customs and practices. For instance, the Jeep wave. It's kind of like the motorcycle wave. It's a common courtesy, but with a whole point system and hierarchy and everything. The Jeep wave is a wave from one Jeeper to another. It's just saying hi and acknowledging, like,
I like what you got. or out the window. 3 fingers out the window.
Oh, like that?
Yeah, like hey.
It might have began with the Jeep CJs, which ended up extending to every other Jeep model. And in the process, a ranking was created based on how legit your Jeep is. The TJ is somewhere in the middle because it has airbags and it's the tail end of the old ones while retaining some modern features. The most legit Jeeps were the pre-CJs, followed by the pre-AMC CJs. In third place is other CJs. In fourth place is the Commando. Then in fifth place is the YJs. That's the one with the square headlights. And in sixth place is this TJ. Seventh place is the Cherokee and the Wagoneer, and all their modern Jeeps, you know, you guys get a courtesy wave. Other magazines have expressed what it's like to drive the TJ, and by extension the YJ, but here it is. You, as the driver, are sitting closer to the rear wheels than you are to the front wheels. So there's a very power wheels sensation when you turn it. The gearing is quite low, with a high and low transfer case for four-wheel drive. This owner put wider tires on the Jeep, so when you go full lock, the outer edge of the tire will scrape in the inner edge of the wheel well. It happens. It's just a Jeep thing. We've all gone through those Jeep phases, haven't we? Never owned one myself, but man, I wanted a TJ so bad. I had this yearning for this machine. It's very childlike, because this is a childlike and innocent car. At the same time, being kind of motherly to you at the same time, isn't it? Yes. You can take the doors off. You can lift up the hood and move it all the way back to the windshield if you want. You can take the windshield and move it all the way down. A bit complicated, but you can do that, although that's illegal to drive around with the windshield facing down. Even the stock airbox snorkel faces up. You can sink the TJ all the way down to the bottom of its headlights. It'll be fine. On the road, it's kind of wobbly. 75 miles an hour is the fastest you want to go in a TJ. After that, things really, because it's a brick just going through the air, just the air out of the way. And if you want a daily one of these things and you're living in the Northeast or any North, right, you have to get the optional hardtop that gets you, if it's a good one, a rear wiper and maybe even rear defrost. It also cuts down on the noise. Really, it's easier to daily a Miata than it is to daily a TJ, though more people daily TJs than Miatas. It's because they work in the wintertime. But man, your butt pays the price. But that's why the TJ is still the best one. Because it hurts you. It's for your own good. You gotta remember what it's like out there. Cars really drive fast. And 60 miles an hour in a TJ feels like 100. The windshield wipers don't work really well because the windshield is flat. There's no aerodynamics at all. They didn't even try. The new Jeeps, they tried to slant the hood back, round out the edges. No, this one just assaults the air. But it's made to go slow. It's made to crawl over things. It's made to get you through things. And it's fun. Already even speaking this, I want one again. Because I want the feeling of discovery back. These are old cars now, but they're still pretty. Because I understand that now. While there are better out-of-the-showroom off-roaders like Land Rovers and 4Runners, the TJ is here to teach you how to be good in the dirt, and good in the grass, and good in the mud, and good in the ruins of the past like here in Centralia. And that's another thing. Jeeps come from war. They come from conflict and pain and exploitation and violence, excused and unexcused. And that level of violence exists like a wake of bad choices traveling back from the TJ and into the past. The war's over. This isn't a vehicle of war anymore, although it carries that shadow. They're bad feelings we wish we didn't have to feel, but because we know they exist, and we know the tragic history of Jeeps, we are filled with determination to be true pacifists. Think of it this way. One of the possible timelines for TJs is willful destruction. You know, drive it, crash it, into trees, yeah, run over everything because, yeah, that's what they're made for. I can do it. I can do it. I can take this thing and I can drive it into the ground. And it will fight for its own survival the entire way. They want to say Jeeps are unreliable. And yes, the straight six with its reverse flow head, it does leak oil. And fires are not completely rare. They happen, but your job is not to let that happen now. Don't twist every sway bar. Don't shred the differentials. Don't mangle every bumper just because you can. Maintain this yesteryear vehicle because it's becoming yesteryear. Again, this is the end of the long line for the tiny Jeeps. I know, I hear you. It's a Jeep thing. You wouldn't understand. No, I understand completely. You're bringing vehicular genocide to TJs because you can. But we're seeing the ending, yeah? You know where this road goes. You know what happens. Go on Craigslist. Try to find a normal Jeep. Try to find one that isn't broken. Try to find a Jeep whose history, whose timeline is free from sinning owners. That's tough, isn't it? And when you do find one pure, $10,000. $10,000 for a Jeep. Yep. 10 grand to feel good again, to set the TJ timeline straight. So if you're in your Jeep phase and it leads you all the way down under, be good, won't you? Spare the TJs. The war's over. A TJ will love you unconditionally every time. Love it back. Love her back. A TJ will do its best to take care of you for as long as you need. Jeep TJ. The Toriel of cars.
I love Jeeps and I backspace like breakup emails when I mod my Jeep TJ. I love Jeeps, they're a skateboard on wheels, oh fat tires, oh it must be my birthday. I love Jeeps, they're a car we must save, and they keep value more than they're known to. Spare the TJs, don't forget about the wave, the past is hard to go home to.